Welcome back, Plugs and Thugs, episode 85.
What up?
What up,
guys? How's it going?
Yeah.
Great start.
Fantastic.
My name's Alex.
Daniel?
And Scott.
Good
We got
start.
that part right. It's okay.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I just was thinking that maybe you were going to respond when I said, "What's up, guys?" Like, just like a normal hi, how's it going? But that's fine. I like it. I like
How are you?
Yeah.
You wanted a what?
You want a who?
A who? A what?
Who's on
I don't
first?
know. I don't know. I'm not sure. We're not worried about who's on first right now because
Because
we got a podcast to do.
we do have a podcast today.
True.
And it's about hockey, not baseball. So,
And I've got a stream to play around with while we record.
yes. Even
Oswald
though
said morning.
I'm
Jordan,
rock,
Oz.
even though I'm rock hard. Oh, that's
Fancy.
really cool.
I like that one.
Even though I'm rock hard that the show has been announced for crossplay Xbox.
More
Oh,
important-
has it?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it was. But the biggest hype. Arthur Kaliev, first game, first goal. You heard it here. Oz in the comments. Go Kaliev, go. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I like the bubble on that too.
Yeah.
I think the bubble's new, to be honest with you. I'd never seen
For
the bubble.
for those of you that aren't used to watching us record, you guys are used to listening to us. Our production value is going up tenfold as we speak.
I agree. I mean, we've literally in the last 20 minutes
In the
Pretty
last, like,
much,
10 minutes,
yeah.
decided. Well, that's what happens when you finally get the overlay stuff. I don't have those programs, so. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to kind of put a little bit more into the actual live stream portion of it and video YouTube. I think kind of the same thing Zach talked about for Zach and Dave Make a Podcast.
It's a live
know,
show now.
It's
no more
fun.
podcasts.
Well, it's not even that. It's just more of like, I don't know, especially with all the facial expressions. Like, I feel like even a lot of the shows that we've done in the last couple of months, we've even skipped some of the like even uploading it on SoundCloud just because most of it was like because of facial expressions, people,
Right.
different other things you can't see while you're listening. So.
We definitely will try to shift back towards being more audio friendly.
Yes,
We definitely need to work on that.
Maybe.
we do.
I feel
Maybe.
like it.
Yeah. If you feel like it.
You average 6 words per episode anyway.
True.
You're not going to be.
That's what I was
missing
gonna say. Like 50% of what I say is through my facial expressions. So
Yep. Also, for the first time in a long time, if not ever, live on Twitch
yeah, I
Through
think that's
the
the
NC
first time ever. Yeah.
through the NZHL Twitch. No, it's actually
No,
not
it's
the
not.
first time ever. Daniel and I did a couple couch shows.
Ah,
We
okay.
did. Yes, we did. And I think we actually made an In the Neutral Zone Twitch, but
We
we
did.
thought it was going to be a better idea to do the other routes. But I think we're moving more away from Twitter.
Right.
We just think Twitch would be cool. And obviously we have NZHL and we promote In the Neutral Zone. So I thought it was a cool idea. I mean, we've already seen a couple of people that don't normally tune in to our shows live.
Yeah,
For
what's
In the
up,
Neutral
guys?
Zone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice.
Full
Welcome,
send,
Colton.
full send in the chat.
Look,
Yep.
it's a red. Oh yeah, Bronto's seen before, so
So let's dive right into it here. So some extra news, actually. Sorry, before we dive in, the format is changing a little bit. We will no longer be boring your brains out for 30 minutes an episode with the news. We are now going to try a new style, which I'm not going to get into. You guys will just have to see how it flows.
Yep.
And then also, no Zach today. He did 4 different shows in the last week. Decided to take a break tonight, so we are Zachless for
yeah,
the first time in months, and not before that because we were Zachless for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
this is true. But yeah, so before we jump right into it, especially for the new people, we do have separate social medias to follow us on. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook channels for our In the Neutral Zone podcast. And if you could, we're really open to grow this now. Actually, NCHL has more followers and people that tune in live. So we're kind of trying to grow the podcast version since we've actually had it longer and have put a lot into it over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the league would not exist in the at least in the format that it does now without this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Os, you're not happy. You really want to see Obi.
Oswald in the chat saying he's happy Zach's not here as he wipes the tears off his keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. But he could dry him up with Kaliev's goal. I mean, we could even start with the Little Kings for the last week. I mean, we find out there's
Zach saying
there he is. He's here. Oh man. So, anyways, I mean, I guess we can jump into the Kings. Kaliev, he was moved to the taxi squad yesterday in a transaction, and within 24 hours was moved from the taxi squad right into the lineup, slotted in. I think he started on the fourth line, but quickly moved up to the third.
He's been bouncing around all game. He's gone from the fourth to the second to the third, back to the second, back down into the fourth. So they're doing a really good job getting his feet wet here, even though Anaheim is tripling us in shots on goal right now.
Yeah, well.
Oh wow, they really
are.
We have
33-11.
We have some defensemen out too. But guess what? It doesn't matter. It's only a 1-goal game, so
yes, exactly.
Not wrong.
Matter. Kaliev did pot his first goal tonight
on his first game. Yeah,
on his fifth shift, fourth youngest rookie to debut on a Kings roster in team history.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Damn.
Zach, did you know that they drew a penalty because you're watching it on my TV behind me?
That's how I knew.
Yeah.
I just had the whistle right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so that I just wanted to make sure to shout that out. And also, just because Zach is not here doesn't mean we're gonna not shout out Zach and Dave Make a Podcast. They are not recording, to my knowledge, this week. If Zach has his way, but I do want to make sure to shout Zach and Dave. They will be returning next week if they do not record tomorrow or Thursday. They're weird. Give them a follow. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Watch them. They're live.
Very mature, I hear.
They're very mature.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's jump right into the one thing we did skip over last week was a really, really good topic that Alex shot over my way, or our way. But let me make sure I get it here in the comments so I can.
For those of you tuning in that haven't watched us before, we go ahead and submit questions in the chat if you want. We'll read them live on the air.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex brought this question up a week ago. We skipped over it because we wanted him a part of it. Unfortunately, Zach's not here, but that's okay. It's Zach or Alex's question.
It's not Zach's question. Fuck Zach.
So the National Women's Hockey League aired on Twitch a week and a half ago, and it had 875,000 viewers on
87,500.
Yeah, 87,500 followers or viewers on the Twitch channel. The question was that a lot of people are talking about. So should the NHL entertain this idea to help grow the game?
So important factor to note here is that they not only debuted on Twitch, they canceled the league-wide. They canceled their streaming and viewing options with every other media outlet. So the NWHL is now exclusively on Twitch.
Oh, okay. That's important to know. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But still really cool, actually.
Should the NHL do that? Probably not. Is there a huge untapped market in the streaming community? Absolutely. Especially during the COVID era where these leagues are fighting to mock up every dollar they can in Twitch and other streaming services that are essentially a free trade economy with the kind of backing that they have. This could be great supplemental income, I think, for any professional sports league. The NBA,
one game a week, put it on Twitch.
Not
one
even
NHL game a week.
Yeah, you could even do that.
Or multiple. You can't do both.
One game a night.
You can't do all of them. So
doesn't the NFL do Thursday Night Football on Twitch?
On Amazon.
Yes,
but
the thing
on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
think
should
they
be
did a
both.
Twitch too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so you already have your free game of the night every night, be it somewhere in the league on the NHL network, right?
Yeah.
Why not simulcast that game on Twitch or on these other streaming platforms?
True.
I mean, you even see NBC now does live streams of big events like the Tesla launch and stuff like that live on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the earning potential is there, and then we won't have to have logos on sponsorship logos on our jocks and players with McDonald's logos tattooed into their foreheads.
Yeah, I mean, so this one's an interesting note. When the original question was just posed, literally the way I read it, I did not know that they canceled everything else. This is one of those things that I was kind of on the fence about, because I think it's just like you said, Twitch is a very or streaming is an untapped market. You can really, instead of somebody having to go to Amazon or even any of these other places just to watch a game, wherever they're simulcasting it. I think Twitch is very easy. A lot of people will my wife watches Twitch now because lots of stuff is on there. People that do YouTube and Twitch.
Right.
So it's one of those things that you can hit an untapped market. And I don't see the downside of it. I understand, like you said, especially if you do it only a couple of games and it's maybe the free games.
I love you too, generic Facebook user.
That might have been Dave, yeah.
It's Dave. Dave or Tanner, that's all it ever is. But I mean, the thing is, if you do it for a couple of games, maybe the free game of the night, simulcast, and maybe one other, like some out of market game that people can't see very often, to help grow the game.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea. You can't do the same thing that the NWHL did and go exclusively there, because you're going to lose money that they can't lose based on, they have partnerships with NHL Network and TSN and all these other, NBC Sports Network, which, may or may not be around for the next couple of years or in a year or two.
A year from now, yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, you still have those contracts and that reaches more people. But I still think it's a fantastic idea that just, especially with those free games of the night, that's a very nice, easy way to test it out, because, if you want to hit an untapped market, you got to stream that somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else is just, I can't afford to get NHL TV or whatever. They're just going to watch it because they're already hockey fans. If they're already hockey fans, that's not who you're trying to reach. You're trying to grow the game.
Sport. Exactly.
So, I think that was a very interesting topic. And I think, diving into it, I'm glad we waited for you, because I didn't know that extra information. And that was a huge cornerstone to how you answer it. But yeah, no, I think it would be a very, very good idea for the NHL. And on top of that, and in any sport, the other thing they need to get rid of that coincides with that is blacking out games. It's just makes zero sense. There should be no reason why, if you pay for a service,
I pay $150 a year for the NHL app. And the fact that I cannot watch Kings hockey on the NHL app is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Just because you can pull that up on Fox Sports Network that gets money anyways. It doesn't matter.
I don't want to pay a cable subscription just for one channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is that, that brings up a topic that would move over to Zach and Dave make a podcast, but that brings up another topic about, I think that's the direction it's going, and we've already seen it over the last couple of years. All the different sports and channels, they're going to the streaming style.
Traditional cable media is dying. By the time our kids are old enough to understand what's going on, cable TV will be as foreign to them as DVD players are to kids now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or a GameCube. There's still DVD players. But
Blu-ray.
If you're poor.
Yeah. And there's DVD, Blu-ray. It's not as foreign. But that was a really good question, and I think we should see Not just I mean, even other sports have started to do this, and I think the NHL should do
Right.
it. I mean, MLB did MLB on Twitch.
You,
It
you
also
have-
makes it a little bit easier when I think did Amazon buy Twitch?
Yes,
Yes.
they do. They own
Yes,
Twitch.
that's what I thought. They own
They-
Twitch, so
there's
now they're doing,
also-
that's why the NFL is doing it on Twitch.
And there's also a huge potential in outside game media, in doing live look-ins of players, live look-ins in the locker room, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That alone will garner you enough viewership to at least subsidize your income in part. You look how much these Twitch streamers make. Like, I'm not talking about like the top Twitch streamers, but an intermediate popular Twitch streamer takes home $500,000 to $650,000 in revenue just from Twitch advertisements a year.
Yeah.
Now you think of an established corporation that can sextuple those numbers. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for how much they need, but it's still money that they're not getting that they could be utilizing for literally this much money a year.
Yeah, and I mean, you could do cool things with it.
Right.
You literally can have, like, you can utilize the same thing, regular people like you and I use Twitch for. You can utilize the comments. You'll have people live commenting. Even when they started the Facebook thing.
If the NHL Network can dedicate half an hour a day to an NHL themed cooking show, they can get on Twitch. I don't know if you guys have seen what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Scott, do you know what I'm talking about?
I actually don't know.
There is a show on the NHL Network that a professional cook hosts where he FaceTimes with a random NHL player and teaches them how to cook a dish off a 5-star menu while you watch.
I actually have seen that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Stupidest concept for a television show I've ever seen.
Yeah. But I agree. I think they should move that direction and get that untapped market for sure.
100%.
So this one is a topic to dive into.
Aha!
Scott?
Yeah.
The Tony D'Angelo situation.
We only barely touched on it because it was brand new a week ago.
Yeah. So, did you guys? I didn't get to listen to last week's episode, unfortunately.
We didn't
you
really
guys
dive into
talk
it.
about-
No, we didn't. Yeah.
So, let me lead this off with. Do you guys know the whole fake Twitter account scandal?
Yes, but we did not talk about it. All we talked about last week was about.
Is Scott aware of the fake Twitter
I
account
actually am
scandal?
not aware. No, I'm not aware of this.
Well,
the fake
let
Twitter
me
scandal.
fill you in.
Okay.
So, a little backstory for the listeners. So, Tony D'Angelo, budding defensive prospect for the New York Rangers,
Very budding prospect.
took a few steps back in his NHL career when, after the riot at the Capitol, decided to quit very publicly. What did I cut out?
You cut out for a second.
Okay,
but you're good now.
He decided to leave Twitter very publicly in lieu of joining Parler, which is a very well known and also very new right wing conspiracy social media hub,
and shut down.
Yeah, it's now shut down.
Yeah.
I think Amazon Web Service shut it down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shut down their instance.
Yeah. So Tony D'Angelo went ahead and did that. And then the New York Rangers informed everybody that they're not very happy about it, but it was all very hush hush. And then people started roasting Tony D'Angelo on Twitter.
Okay.
So a lot of people began noticing that there would be this random fresh Twitter account commenting on their posts, essentially talking shit to them for talking shit about Tony D'Angelo. And it was a New York Rangers fan, 48-17-36.
Yeah,
he got the burner. That's sick.
The burner account.
People started accusing him, obviously, of being Tony D'Angelo. And he put up a post saying, I don't know why people keep accusing me of being Tony D'Angelo. I don't even know Tony D'Angelo. Why would you guys even assume that? And someone pinged the post back to his IP and posted the screenshot of it on Twitter and called out Tony.
Like the back coding and everything.
Yeah.
So essentially proved it was Tony D'Angelo, put Tony D'Angelo on blast. So that was hilarious. The best part
Kevin Duranted. He got outed.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's just what I was thinking. Yeah.
The best part is he continues to deny it and still uses that Twitter account.
That account's still active.
That's so good.
So, bring up this comment from our buddy Adam. It's only followed by the NHL Player Association and the New York Rangers.
What the fuck?
So, he was a healthy scratch for a game.
Yes.
Apparently he did not react well to the news. He was going to be a healthy scratch. He was scratched 2 more games, and he has now been waived by the New York Rangers. Now, whether that's whether that's for purpose of buyout at the end of the regular season, whether that's pending a trade, I don't know.
So all they did say is he is done with the Rangers.
He is done with the Rangers. Now, there's a few ways they can go about this. They can try to trade him, with the current political landscape is going to be near impossible with the comments he's made in the media.
This is also true. Hold on. Sen said the same thing. There was nothing really important in it, but he fell for it and admitted to the on the account that it was him. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. He got baited.
So they can do that. They can waive him for purpose of a buyout, but the problem is if they do that during the regular season, they essentially just bench him for an entire season. That could result in a potential lawsuit against the New York Rangers.
Yes.
That could result in a wage dispute. The other thing they can do is waive him, have him clear waivers, and then stick him on the taxi squad for the rest of the season.
He's already cleared.
So they're gonna put him back on the taxi squad for the remainder of the season, either until they can get a trade for him, or shout out to Nashville. If you guys want to capitalize on a good defenseman with Southern values, now's your chance to grab one cheap. If you want a future partner for Roman Josi, now is the time.
I don't know. This is one of those interesting things.
They can trade 2 bags of Cheetos, a 7th round pick, and 3 Confederate flags right now to the New York Rangers for Tony DeAngelo.
They probably would take it, because the other interesting part of this whole thing here. So as you guys know, with the whole K'Andre Miller thing, there's basically I saw a series of tweets from a couple of reporters, well-known NHL reporters. I don't have their name up right now. I could probably look it up later. Basically they were saying that, the Rangers kind of, they knew about that situation. He's had
Explain what the situation is.
The K'Andre Miller situation?
Well, I know what it is, but explain for the people listening.
Well, K'Andre Miller, I think we talked about it before. That was the whole situation where he did hit when he first got drafted, and there was the Zoom. Was it a Zoom meeting? And somebody Zoom bombed the press conference and kept writing the N-word over and over. I think they asked teammates about it. If I remember correctly, DeAngelo kind of didn't comment on it. I don't know the DeAngelo part of that, but he was bringing up the K'Andre Miller situation. There's been multiple situations where Tony DeAngelo has had a series of questionable borderline racist comments or ideologies that he's expressed via either social media or in the locker room. He's had kind of an issue that people have noticed over the years, just kind of repeating and that kind of being his mindset, really. Yeah. And what the guy was saying is the Rangers kind of, I don't know if they knew about it, but they kind of kept putting DeAngelo out there. They supported. There's a podcast he does, and they kept getting DeAngelo, and they were supporting the thing. It was like the I think it was like the WHT or something like that. It was but they made it part of the Rangers programming. They were really trying to put DeAngelo out there and kind of market him, even though they knew all this stuff was going on in the background. And now all of a sudden, they're cleansing themselves. I mean, good for them, but at the same time, they're saying that over the last several years, the Rangers have kind of brushed it under the rug.
Right.
Trying to do weird things and still marketing. He's outright.
He's outright all right.
Oh, Gavin. Gavin. Okay.
Yeah. There's another bit of Keandre Miller drama. If you guys haven't heard about Keandre Miller scoring his first NHL goal.
Yes, that's the other
And
thing.
yeah, and if you watch the replay, Tony DeAngelo is the one that pulls it out of the net, and apparently Keandre Miller never got that puck.
Which I heard that people were refuting that. Like there were some people in the Rangers staff that said that it was absolutely not true.
Well, I heard
also-
But I don't know.
I heard
Still-
today he never did receive that puck.
People were also refuting that Patrick Laine was on the trade blocks. So
Very true.
That's true.
Very true.
Yeah, it's the NHL, bro. Images
Well, yeah, that's
everything.
the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to keep as much as you can hush hush. But yeah, I mean,
Apparently there were some locker room interactions that people aren't giving details on, where there
Yeah.
may have been like a physical altercation at one point.
within the last couple of days.
Yeah, within the last
it
couple of
wasn't.
days.
It wasn't involving Miller though. It was the straw that broke the camel's back was DeAngelo. I think got back into the lineup after those healthy scratches, and he started arguing they lost in overtime, and him and was it Shesterkin?
Yeah.
Him and Shesterkin got into it, and apparently. I don't. Again, it's one of those things that we don't have all of the news about yet. But there was an altercation. They were arguing, and Chris Kreider was apparently kind of sick and tired of DeAngelo's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the report is that Kreider's. Oh, Georgiev. That's who it was. Okay, it was one. I knew it was one.
One of the Russian goalies.
One of the Russian goalies. I couldn't remember which one. Yes, it was Georgiev. They were arguing. And Kreider, the report was as of last night that Kreider stepped in and slugged Tony DeAngelo, sparking a physical altercation.
What a guy to have swing at you in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that's kind of highly regarded in the New York Rangers organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, I mean, that was kind of the thing. Now they're saying Georgiev clocked him. See, that's the thing is there's too many reports. I saw one that Kreider stepped in and punched DeAngelo. I did see a report that Georgiev ended up punching DeAngelo. But yeah, it was sparked because they were arguing he was giving Georgiev shit for it being a soft goal. And then he was arguing that it was DeAngelo's fault and he shouldn't be getting in his face. And it was just a normal, argument after some frustration.
Win as a team, lose as a team.
Yes. But that doesn't happen when you already have so much surrounding you.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, that's the thing is that's one of those things that was boiling over.
The dude is typical Italian New Jersey trash.
We'll see how it goes. But
typical Guido.
Typical Guido. But yeah, so he was. Yeah, exactly. That is the bottom line, Gavin. You were correct. Tony. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Bottom line, DeAngelo got punched. Everybody liked that.
Yep.
And that's the thing is when the team is kind of supportive of it, doesn't matter who did it. That's the straw.
This harkens back really hard to the Evander Kane suede tracksuit incident. If you guys remember that before he got traded out of Winnipeg.
Yes.
Scott's.
I know. I remember that. I know.
I remember talking about it too.
Did we talk about it on the show?
I think so. That was a couple of years back. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting situation. But I mean, it was one of those things. So like, it is one of those things. Sometimes you have to, as an organization, go along with it until you have some more concrete evidence.
Right.
Go ahead and do that. But at the same time, it's like one of those things too, where if there's some questionable thing that's going on, like, do you try to promote that person? I mean, I don't know. It's one of those catch-22 situations.
Yeah.
Where do you go? I mean, everybody's been talking about like DeAngelo's stuff has kind of been brushed to the side up until this season.
Right.
And it just kind of spilled over. Obviously causing an in-locker room altercation, which subsequently led to him being waived. The owner coming out and saying this is absolutely the last time he's, that was the last time he's played for the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
So he will not be back. Whatever the situation is, like you said, if he's on the taxi squad, they got to try to find a trade partner or cut him at some point if they can find some kind of legal way out of it without some kind of a lawsuit or anything like that. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But it's been an interesting week and a half with this whole situation.
100%. Sidebar, shout out to Cal Peterson, who, even though we're down 2-1 right now, has 43 saves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was just watching the game right now too. Also, we probably shouldn't show what Adam said, but it was pretty fucking funny. Are you reading what Adam said?
That up. We can bring that
All right.
up.
You know what? Granted, we've said it a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, we have. The same KHL team that should sign him and Voinov, so they have a racist wife beater as a D pair. Voinov's actually been on 3 teams since he's moved to the KHL.
Has he really?
Yeah.
I thought he just stuck with the same team.
No, he was on CSKA. I think right now he's on Dynamo, and then he spent last season when they won the championship in Akbars in Kazakhstan.
I literally only know Dynamo, and that's it.
Well, you don't need to know anything about the KHL because Dmitry Yaskin has led the league in goals for the last 2 seasons.
Hey.
Yeah. That's the type of talent you have in there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Dmitry Yaskin is 1 season away from winning the scoring title more than any other player has consecutively in their career. And this is a league with guys like Ilya Kovalchuk and Pavel Datsyuk.
Well, is Datsyuk still playing?
No, he retired last year.
I was going to say,
This is pending Alexander Ovechkin retiring from the NHL, showing up at age 63 and teeing up 40 goals.
He could do it, 100%.
Sorry, what happened?
Well, we're talking about the KHL.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think
really quick, Cal Peterson stats. Expected goals against for the season thus far would be 215, actually a 175.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal Peterson's good. Again, when we were talking about the whole Parikh and Peterson situation, it was not that Cal Peterson was not any good. It was the fact is we thought he was the heir apparent for the next 10 to 15 years, and Parikh may be better. We'll find out. But either way, Cal Peterson's an absolute stud.
We could have listen, if we had a Shesterkin Georgiev situation going on, I wouldn't be upset.
Nobody absolutely not.
Yeah, because eventually
better yet, a Robin Wetter, Marc-Andre Fleury situation.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Next topic.
All right, here we go. We kind of touched on this one a little bit before the show. This is part of the notes here. All right.
Beastly week for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Not so much for the Oilers.
I don't know why I put it together. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's weird. Edmonton tied for goals for in a week and had the highest goals against. Shout out, by the way, to Montreal, who's not only first in the league but has a plus 17 differential after tonight.
Damn. Nice.
10 games in this season.
We need it. We'll touch on Montreal for sure. We need to.
Yeah,
I will say shout out to Connor McDavid on my fantasy team. Going well.
So this is interesting. So I know the other was it yesterday? McDavid and Draisaitl, they ended up combining for 11 points, but through 2 periods,
that was
they had 11 points.
Mm-hmm.
It was either yesterday or the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I mean, what a week. So they had each of them had 12 points for the week in 4 games. So they are 3 points per game.
McDavid also has 2 assists tonight, and Draisaitl has a goal.
Oh fuck!
Currently against the Senators.
Wow. So this again goes back to the wonderful Edmonton Oilers.
I think they're the only NBA team in the NHL. Where you just have like 3 players that carry the team to the playoffs.
Well, that
yeah,
hasn't
I mean,
happened, like,
but it
years
hasn't
ago.
happened. That's the thing. They're literally all, we've got these 2 fantastic, unworldly players that put up points and do what they can to drag this team where it needs to get. But they have absolutely nothing else. I mean, they have offense. I mean, they do have some supporting cast now. I mean,
Kyler Yamamoto, also on my fantasy team.
Yamamoto's played well this season.
Tyson Berry has been excellent. He's having a good
Same with Darnell Nurse. Yeah.
Offensively, again, that goes back to
exactly.
Edmonton's problem. No
Well,
defense.
the problem traditionally has
no
been
goaltending.
everything. Their defense was atrocious also. But now they have a good, at least top 4 decor with Clefbaum, Nurse,
But Clefbaum's injured.
Berry, and Bear.
He's out for the season.
I know, but I'm saying,
yeah.
Is he out for the season?
Or most of it.
That's a big hit.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, they still got Larson. Whatever that means.
For Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Still a great trade, right? It's fantastic.
Yeah, great.
Went so well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a never-ending cycle of Edmonton hockey.
Yep.
Never-ending
cycle mediocrity that started at the end of the year.
I think this is more true than I agree. There's no reason they should have given that money to good Lord, I can't Koskinen.
I agree.
He did not deserve that money for one good season.
Koskinen is not a reliable NHL starting goaltender.
No.
Now, a tandem starter on a rebuilder, yeah, maybe, which is what the Oilers are. So, I mean, they have no good goalies in the prospect pool, right? No reliable NHL goalie has attempted to sign there. So what else do? You have no other options. Honestly, the ball was kind of in Koskinen's court.
I mean, the problem is
to come back. What do they have?
I mean, honestly, the thing is I think that's a backwards mindset for that, because the problem is they threw that money at Koskinen because of his good 75% of a season that he just surprised everybody. And they were just like, let's give him, give him the money and see what happens, instead of trying to go out and get. There were plenty of goaltenders, at least reliable starters, that could have helped the Oilers, especially in this season, that could have helped them get over the hump. I do think maybe their D isn't their D is better than it has been in years past.
Yes, for sure.
I think that I agree, if they went and got somebody like Braden Holtby or even if they went and got Markstrom, they would be in a much better position and actually be competing in this North Division.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, we see this happen time and time again in the NHL, where either there's a rookie that's coming in at the end of an ELC who spent the first couple seasons in minors or in the AHL, or we see guys that are, like European players that come in where they have a good performance and then teams want to capitalize on it. But the thing is, like you said, you can't base it off one good season. The biggest reason for that is nobody has playbooks on these guys when they come into the league.
Yeah.
So you're always going to see a more explosive first season. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago with Elias Pettersson. Is Elias Pettersson still one of the more elite centers in the league? Absolutely. Could we see a scoring tick down this season because now people are figuring him out? Yeah, 100%.
This is an important note because, yes, he was fired, was he not?
Yes.
The GM was fired. I remember us talking about, he signed Koskinen to that contract and they got fucking canned. But, I mean, at the same time, it's got to be – it's not just him, though. It's almost been like one of those things, as we talked about with Nashville before this past season. It's a culture thing. At this point, you needed to change the culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got rid of the GM and he had already signed that contract, but sometimes you have to cut your losses if you want to improve the team. And I think this would have been the season to do it, because
I think so too.
I mean, the thing is, we talked about it. I said that there's 3 good goalies in this damn division, and Edmonton isn't one of them.
Oh,
And
for sure not.
As much offense as they have, they cannot keep up with Toronto. They can't keep up with Vancouver. Will turn it around. They can't keep up with Montreal. They can't keep up. Calgary will figure it out. They have more offense.
But they can keep up with Ottawa.
Yes. But Ottawa's also a young team that's actually rebuilding the right way.
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, they really made a mistake there. But it just seems like every week and every season we talk about Edmonton, they need goaltending. Maybe solidify the defense a little bit more. But I agree. I think the goalie situation is much more dire.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's always fun to talk about them. Always.
Always.
All right, so next one, since we're going in this new format instead of reading off notes here. So we had
Philadelphia, Carolina, and St. Louis at least 3 games have all 3 had perfect weeks.
at least 3 games. So
Yeah.
the reason I said that is because there were a couple of teams that played 1 or 2 games, and obviously went 1 or 2-0.
To be honest, it doesn't with these 3 teams, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yep.
St. Louis was probably the biggest surprise out of these 3, but even then, they're a good team.
I disagree with you. I think St. Louis is a stronger team to garner that. If anything, based off what I saw from Carolina's effort against Chicago tonight, I'm more surprised that Carolina went 3-0. Even though they won in the shootout tonight, beating the Chicago Blackhawks this year in a shootout is the same thing as losing.
This is true. So a part of the same note, your boys Philly.
Yeah, JVR had 8 points. Damn, Carter Hart went 2-0, and they pretty much carried Philly, like the note says.
Yeah, I mean, so they went 4-0 last week. Carter Hart start 2 of those. Yeah, JVR went on a tear. I was looking at leaders for what do you call it? Leaders for the week points wise. JVR was the only one in the top echelon of points there. But I mean, when you can get that, you have a guy like JVR who can turn it on at any point. And when you're building with that young team, you've got Konechny, who's kind of been the guy the last couple of seasons, budding, like a budding star. You've got Provorov, who has really come into his own, and this season starting to break out a little bit more. He's played excellent. Carter.
Oh,
Hart,
by the way, with the stats that you put, all of these teams are now 4-0.
Yes.
With the stats that you had up.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, it's Carter Hart. Oh yeah, that's the other one. I mean, Carter Hart is an absolute stud. There's nothing more
for sure
about that kid. I mean, he's just an absolute monster. But yeah, I mean, again, Philly, not a surprise here. They are leading their division, as I think most of us predicted. They are tied or really close with Washington. I think they might be tied in points. Philly is, I think, has the tiebreaker, so they're up top.
Hardest division in the league, by the way.
It is. That is the hardest division. And where it shakes out, the funny thing is I was looking at the standings earlier, where the top 4 teams, only one of them, at least as of now. I know it's really early. I think the most games played, not counting tonight's games, through yesterday is 10 games played.
Yes.
So it's it's still almost 1/5 of the season, because we're in a 54 game season, or 56 game season. So I mean, we're just shy of a fifth of the season. So it's significant, but at the same time still early enough that a lot of these things are going to shake up. But I think Washington, Pittsburgh, and
Boston
Boston were the other top 4 teams.
Yes.
And I think 2 of those I did not pick to make it. So.
Oh, and I'd
be
like to
tracking
point
that.
out, so far, Zach's pick for the Rangers to make the playoffs
It's going terrible.
isn't going so well as they're at the bottom of the division. Or no, bottom of the division? Right?
Oh,
Yes, they're at
if
the bottom
not,
of the division.
they're very.
Granted, our pick for the Islanders to make the playoffs.
Also
They're
going
second
very
to
well.
last. Yeah. No.
It is not.
Also, a quick update. Claude Giroux, point per game. That's all I'm saying.
Bounce back, right? Bounce back candidate.
Yeah, I believe so.
Bounce back candidate.
That's right. You hearing things over there?
No.
What?
Bounce back.
You said bounce back.
Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. Now
Moving on
to Alex's other favorite team, just because apparently that's who he likes. Here we go.
John Carlson.
Also
Nick
on my
Baxter.
fantasy team, John Carlson. Just everyone's on my dude. It's my fantasy team stacked. What can I say?
John Carlson, Nick Backstrom this week combined for 12 points. Monsters. They've been playing so well without. I'm not gonna lie. When they said every Russian player on that team was quarantined, I was like, that's it. Their season's fucked. They're gonna lose the whole season in 6 games.
Yeah.
No. Samsonov doesn't matter. Orlov doesn't matter. Kuznetsov doesn't matter. Lo and behold, Ovechkin doesn't matter.
Wow. I mean, they went 3-1 last week.
It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is.
Alrighty. The Rock.
That's a good message. Yeah, that's a very good message to pull out.
But yeah, so it was kind of interesting. We all kind of had the same outlook there that they were going to struggle for the next couple of weeks. Yes, they have talented players that can slot in, but when you lose
your best goalie, your best
goalie,
scorer,
Your tandem best center,
Yeah.
one of your top 4 D-men.
They were going
it was gonna be
to
rough.
start I think a rookie, Lankinen,
Yes.
and he goes 3-1, 3-0-1. I think he
3-0.
started all the games.
3-0-1.
I think he started all the games. He's stepped in, made it to where this last week and a half was not gonna screw Washington as they held their own in the top of the division. Tied with Philly, but it's nice to see Backstrom. Carlson isn't really a shocker. Backstrom kind of has. I don't want to say. I mean, his performance has kind of dipped the last season and a half.
Yeah,
He hasn't been the guy that everybody, that he was, previously, because Kuznetsov kind of took over that
1C role.
1C role.
Mhm.
Backstrom's reliable. Everybody knows that. But,
for sure.
the thing is, when you lose Kuznetsov and now Backstrom has to slot back in as the 1C, you don't have Ovechkin on that line. It's just kind of interesting. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And he made it not a problem. And, John Carlson with 6 points is not shocking.
No, not at all.
He's a monster. He helped out there. It was nice to see, somebody come in like Lincoln and basically be able to shut the door. He's been impressive for the last week. Obviously, they'll want to slot Samsonov back in there because he's also had a fantastic season.
Yeah.
And that's what you're expecting is to stop, to put your guy back into the rotation once he's, quote unquote, healthy and back in the protocol. But that's a nice tandem to have now that you've been able to prove that Lincoln could do it and stick it out. It's got to be giving the Capitals much needed confidence.
Will this be the year of the goalie tandems? Maybe.
It's starting to look
We're
like
seeing a lot of teams with goalie
we
tandems
are.
right now.
Yeah, we are.
Like Washington will have one now. Rangers have one. Vegas has one.
I think people have started to notice over the last year and a half that tandems just work. If you can rely on two guys instead of have somebody start 90% of the season and have somebody else just come in and, either get shit on just to give them a break or, do a respectable job. I mean, it's so much easier and better for these teams to be able to rest guys and let them play longer and, have a much more successful and prolonged career.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can rely on two guys, that's huge. And I think that's kind of it's been trending that direction over the last couple of years. We've seen more and more teams
And who
utilizing it.
started it? Who
We
started
did.
it? We did. Ben Bishop, Jonathan Quick, best 20 games we've ever played.
Yeah. Zach wants to know who wants to eat his ass.
Jesus Christ.
It came out of nowhere.
This is a mature podcast. I don't care.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. But no, and who? Okay, not to toot my own horn here, but how many times have I said, A, don't pay goalies because you'll end up having to now pay for two, but then
Yes.
also you're only as good as your backup goalie.
That's 100%.
Constantly preaching it, and now it's very true.
Yeah. You're
I.e.
absolutely right.
Ben Scrivens. The professor.
Yeah, the
Okay.
professor. It turned out really well for all the teams that have him.
Let's move on.
What? You don't like the professor?
Let's move on.
Jesus. Must be getting close to that.
No, it's
All
that hurts.
You're done?
That
What?
hurts.
It just hurts. I was a big fan of Scribby.
Everybody loves Scrivy.
Oh yeah, he was all right.
All right.
Oh,
So,
I
yeah.
would be the naysayer.
let's see. We have not top pairing, but back in top pairing, Charlie McAvoy with a big week. I think Grizzly took his spot on the top line to
Yeah.
start the season,
Huh. Interesting.
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I think McAvoy still had the slot on the power play, but
Oh, okay.
they were riding Grizzly after a really good season last year.
Which
It was kind of
yeah.
surprising Grizzly had a great season, but at the same time, it's not like McAvoy had a bad one. And I don't know why, they decided to go that route, but Boston's playing just fine. So, I'm not going to go ahead and try to shit on them for that option.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think McAvoy played played into back into the top spot there. I think he's on the top line again for Boston. But he had a big week. Him and Marchand. Yeah, that's fine. Him and Marchand helped Boston to a 3-0-1 week also. They were both in the upper echelon of points, the upper half, or I think they were top 20 in points for the league this week.
Man.
It's not really shocking. I mean, McAvoy.
Well, yeah, of course.
McAvoy's a stud. Marchand, thought they were going to miss him for longer than they did. And
I know.
Marchand's been, he's been great, and that's nothing surprising there. As much of a pest as he is, he's a fantastic player, as we continue to say. But yeah, him and Halak and oh Jesus, why am I blanking on the?
Rask?
Rask. I'm picturing his face and can't think of his last name for a second. Rask and that again, another goalie tandem.
Yeah. Oh, true. I didn't even think about that. Very
Another
true.
goalie tandem. They're playing fantastic. They're splitting time, I think 50-50.
I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
But again,
know.
another great goalie tandem that's working out.
Yeah, they're pretty much splitting time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Bronto wants to know, is Fleury still getting hoed? You can probably answer that, Scott.
Yes,
Take a
but
look.
once he gets picked up by Seattle, because that's inevitably going to happen, things will be good.
Yeah, because what's his name? Starting most of the time for Vegas, right?
Leonard, yeah.
Leonard, yeah. Is he-
Anyway, like Fleury's the older person. You would want to protect Leonard over Fleury.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like how often has Fleury played?
I honestly don't know.
I know he got a 16 save shutout last
Yeah,
week.
I remember that. We talked about
We were
that.
talking about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Bronto makes a good point. Why not for Edmonton get him this year to win?
You could if you wanted to trade for
think-
him. I don't know if you'd want to trade for Marc-Andre Fleury, but if they want, the chance for a cup this year, then yeah, I'd say go for it. Fleury's only really played 3 games, so yeah, Lehner's for sure getting more of the
Lehner's
starts.
They played.
So,
They haven't played 10 though, but still, I think they played like 8 games.
Yeah, so
yeah, no, I agree. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. You're not like,
yeah,
I mean, it sucks you have so much tied up in Koskinen, but I think you guys are okay and be able to pay. They would be able to pay and give up something that's not going to mortgage the team to get Fleury.
I feel like you wouldn't have to give up that much. Like
They were,
I don't know.
yeah.
He seems like he's important to Vegas, but at the same time, Vegas is for sure gonna let him go by the end of the season. When you think about like Seattle having their expansion draft, like
the wrinkle
most likely he's gonna go anyway.
The wrinkle in this to me is when can Seattle start talking? Did they delay it? Because I think they started like with Vegas when they came about. Didn't they start allowing them to talk compensation and trades and stuff the year before they were admitted?
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
I don't remember how early they did that because I remember it being like this big, humongous topic. I know that could have been one of the things that they decided to change because they had so long to negotiate and kind of have some dealings with teams and take advantage of them. So I don't know if that's something that still. I feel like they can't do anything until the end of the season. So if you're going to make that trade, you got to do it before Seattle has before Seattle has the ability to start talking deals with these teams because they'll be they won't have as much of an advantage as Vegas did.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, they will still have an advantage. Yeah, no, you're right, Adam. I mean, even if they haven't been given the ability, they're allowed to. They'll have hush off the record conversations.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean that's why. So as Edmonton, you could want to or first of all, for Vegas, they're probably gonna end up giving up nothing to lose Fleury, right? Like they're not gonna get anything in return for losing Fleury. And so if you're Edmonton, maybe jump on that opportunity and say, hey, we're going to give you something at least in a trade for Fleury. So who knows? I don't know. I think it might be a good idea for Edmonton.
Yeah,
Wolf might be right there.
Just because Alex got back while we were still talking about it, it was a topic with Fleury. We were talking about Edmonton's goalie situation.
Okay.
If Fleury made sense for... he's played 3 games for Vegas.
Right.
Lehner's obviously got the top spot there, and they're not splitting time.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that Lehner is injury prone, right? So you have to keep that in mind. This is a team that thinks that they're competing for a Stanley Cup this year. They're going to stay as stacked at every position as their cap will possibly allow them to.
Yeah.
True, but, at the same time, like I said... Vegas at the same time, you always have to think towards the future, and Vegas is probably going to lose Fleury over nothing because you want to keep Lehner over Fleury for sure.
Right, of course.
They're going, that's why
otherwise they don't have that monster contract.
Yeah. So and then, obviously they're going to expose Fleury.
Yeah, they're going to expose Fleury to the expansion draft, and so it's like, why not get something out of it really quickly and just hope that Lehner isn't injured?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, who do they have I don't know who they have in the prospect pool for their goalies, to be honest with you, if anyone at all.
I'm not sure either. They might have to sign. I mean, I feel like they have somebody, but it's maybe not the most ideal option. Obviously, with the tandem of Fleury and Lehner, they are a little bit more solidified there. But I mean, I agree. I think it makes sense for Edmonton because I agree. If they had somebody like Fleury, they can still. It's early enough in the season that they would be able to make a move. And
100%
with that division, I mean, it's up for grabs. It's early that you're not too far out. Anything could happen if you solidify that goaltending. You throw Fleury there, now you do have 4 good goaltenders, and Edmonton has one of them. You just need to be in that top 4. All of them have offense. And
good point.
At that point, I think they jump over Calgary.
Oh yeah, no, I think so.
Calgary doesn't have.
I was going to say the only one
I think they can hang in offense.
They would just struggle against Toronto and Montreal. That's it.
Maybe. Well, even Winnipeg,
pretty much. Yeah.
Even Winnipeg, they have elite. They have really good goaltending.
Oh yeah.
They don't have solid. They don't have solid defense, and their offense after getting rid of Laine is a little bit different. Yeah, they got PLD, but he hasn't played yet. He hasn't, meshed into the lineup yet. He's not a sniper. He's a playmaker. So that'll, we'll have to be able to see how that works for that offense. But yeah, I think it's a great idea for Edmonton. Edmonton wise, I think it's a deal to make.
Yeah.
Vegas, it's just whether you can convince Vegas to do it. I mean, those were kind of the big topics for the last week. I think there was
there is big news that
there's
came
more
out today.
big news. Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys want to touch on the Buffalo subject?
Please.
So the Buffalo Sabres season is getting postponed at least until February 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Because of COVID issues. I know who was on that list. I know Ristolainen was one of them.
So much for those trade rumors.
Pretty much. I don't have the list up. I don't know if one of you guys could find it at all. But I know for sure just because Ristolainen was on my fantasy team that he was in COVID protocol. I don't know who else, but they're postponing games until the 8th now.
Glad I traded Jack Eichel when I did. Shout out to Matt.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. I also have a couple of other big things too. So, yeah. Let's see. So Sabres postpone. Let's see. Do they have the list on this? Yeah. So forward Taylor Hall and defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen were placed in protocol Tuesday, one day after the Sabres practiced in Buffalo. So obviously, if they practiced and those two were placed in a protocol, everybody else was pretty much a close contact.
Yeah.
So the Sabres were scheduled to travel to New York on Tuesday. After altering their plans because of weather conditions, they did the contact tracing, which basically said that they needed to postpone their games. They also played, I think the Devils are the ones that, so they played home games against the Devils on the 30th and 31st. And the NHL announced yesterday that the Devils had their games postponed at least through Sunday after 4 additional players were placed in protocol. So the Devils have 14 players in protocol, including 5 who were added Tuesday. And so they probably infected the Sabres, who then had close contact after playing them 2 days in a row. So 16 NHL games have now been postponed since the season began, with 2 others postponed prior to the start.
Jesus Christ.
It's not surprising. I know it's something we talked about that we had the discussion saying that we thought at the beginning of the season we were going to see something like this happen. It happened in the MLB. It happened in the NFL.
Well, we had gone as far as to say that some teams' playoff berths would be decided by COVID, and I think we're finally starting to see that. Well, not finally. We're actually starting to see that relatively early.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I hope it starts to stabilize a little bit more, but there's always a chance. It's an interesting time, and you have these teams, even though they're reducing the travel,
Right.
because of the way that they altered the divisions. There's still travel. They're still not in a bubble like they were for the the expanded playoffs last season.
Right.
So it's a different situation that everybody's adapting to, and hopefully it kind of
tapers out.
Out, and hopefully maybe the whole vaccine thing picks up and all that good stuff. But
Wolf brought up a good question, or a good statement, pretty much. Is I'm shocked it didn't happen as much in the NFL. They did a good job. That was also because the NFL played each other once a week, whereas the NHL, you guys, like, everyone's playing each other every other day, and then sometimes for back-to-back days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but at the same time, it's one of those, I think, that evened out too, because the NFL also has a 52-man roster.
Oh, yeah, true.
And they weren't
confined. Way higher likelihood and not to mention the coaching staff is the size of an NHL roster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. They have a huge roster. It's almost like 100 people on staff, and it's, between roster and staff. And then the fact is there was zero. I mean, although they had protocol, they were living at home, they were commuting, they were doing all the stuff like normal. They were just supposed to be much more careful, and they had all the contact tracing.
Yeah, true.
Right. But so it is. I mean, I still think it was pretty impressive the way that the NFL handled it. Yes, there were cases throughout the season. But I think it was. I think it ended up being a little bit better than we thought. Especially at the beginning of that season too.
Yeah, 100%.
The beginning was a disaster. So yeah.
It
might even out. Yeah.
Other big news this week. Nathan MacKinnon, week to week for the Avalanche with a lower body injury. He did not play against the Wild and was tied for third in the NHL with 14 points. Not good for Colorado.
And Daniel dies inside.
Yeah, not good for Colorado. Not good for anybody that likes Nathan MacKinnon or hockey.
Or Nathan MacKinnon himself.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because Colorado, I mean,
still won today.
Yes, they did. They're still a great team. It's not like
I was gonna say they're still a fantastic team.
Yeah, it's not like yes, you lose Nathan MacKinnon, one of the top 3 players in the NHL, but at the same time, I think they're deep enough that they can, especially in this division, they can hang on and
I think so. I think they have so much forward depth that, I mean, obviously anytime I dropped my phone. Anytime you use Nathan MacKinnon is a big a player like Nathan MacKinnon is a huge hit to your roster, but they have so much talent down, not just down the middle, but in their forward core as a whole, that just like the Caps, they can play without their top guy. Just like the Lightning, they can play without their top guy.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I'd argue that like maybe not the Lightning, but the Avalanche are probably more of a stacked team than the Caps are.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and the Caps are doing fine, like you said. Lightning are doing fine. So yeah.
I agree. I mean, but it's still, it's a big blow to hockey and, just especially Colorado.
Right.
So that, that sucks. But yeah, he's injured. He's out. I mean, I don't have much more. I think this went a little bit better than the whole rifling through.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll go a little bit, smoother next week. I'll make sure to send this earlier. This was more of a need this week versus an actual change. But
so if you're tuning in for the first time, bear with us. It does get better.
It does, and it'll get better too if you tuned in and kind of like the conversation. If it's your first time listening, I know Adam's here every week.
We've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah, we've been doing it. We enjoy when people are asking questions or giving us even discussion topics. It doesn't have to be us creating them. We love when everybody else is asking and kind of wanting our thoughts on certain situations in the NHL. But yeah, we do it every week, every Tuesday, unless we have schedule changes. But
For the
we
most
look
part,
forward
every
to doing, yeah, looking forward to doing it some more. Try to make sure we ask some questions. But I think we're gonna go for. I like the live streaming thing we've been doing for a while now. I think we're gonna go for some better visual
Yeah,
aids. Alex has
100%.
kind of already worked on that, and I like the layout we got here. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be cool. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Before I leave, make sure I do my beer of the week. We did skip that once because we just were really caught up in conversation. But this week I have this thing. It's Alex's favorite thing to do. It's called mouth movement. From Casa Agria. It's a double IPA, a nice 8.1%. It says it's an exciting double IPA brewed with our best buds from Santa Cruz, Humble Sea Brewing. So it's a collaboration. This one is made with a base of Pilsner and also oats, hopped with Mosaic, Alex's favorite, Strata, and Vic Secret for none of the Hellas and all of the U's. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Not
means.
sure what that means either. That's got to be a Northern California thing. But it's very good. This Casa Agria kind of popped up recently. I had another really, really good beer from them over the weekend. That was also a double IPA. Can art was freaking fantastic too. So what's the rating scale this week?
I don't know. This is a tough week. We didn't have too much going on.
How many? I'll even make the rating scale for myself. How about that?
How many Cowie of Calder trophies out of 10?
Okay.
I got a Angelo face punches. I like the burner accounts, face punches, whatever you want. I'm actually going to give this a nice 8.5. I would actually seek the beer out. This Casa Agria, I really like the brewery. Everything I've had from them has been very good. Sours.
Adam said injured Canes players. God damn.
Jeez. But yeah, it was really good. It was hoppy, but it was also kind of smooth. I think you would enjoy it, Alex. I don't taste the Mosaic. I know it's not
Mosaic,
your favorite.
big no for me.
I know, but I don't taste the Mosaic. Usually you have that, I don't want to say weird because I like Mosaic, but it does have a Mosaic taste to it. This one does not. I think it has the other hops a little bit more.
I'm going to interrupt before he stops watching. Gavin, get on Play NHL with us. I gave you a free Xbox and I haven't heard from you, and I'm not upset about it yet. Someday I will be.
Yeah, someday we'll. And maybe one day, Gavin, instead of just commenting, maybe you'll want to come on the show.
Yeah,
we invite
maybe.
people all the time.
Let's talk about how big Trevor Zegras' dick is.
Dude, did you see? Hold on. Now that you bring up Zegras, did you see the freaking goal he scored in the shootout? Or he had I don't know if it was a shootout or a penalty shot. He just made it look so easy. Future
going
like this, just going back and forth, and then he did like one movement with his fucking hands, and then just shot it in, and he didn't even like. It was like nothing. It almost just like he was taking a walk to the freaking locker room. It was super fucking easy.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a great clip. I saw it earlier on Twitter. I was like, holy shit, that was pretty fantastic.
With that being said,
yes,
follow us on all the social medias. Join us on Discord. Check out the NZHL. Season's wrapping up in the next 2 weeks. Check out ZadMap for Zach, who's not here tonight. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.